became a proxy war for the United States and the Soviet Union because both sides got to fight each other at the expense of the Vietnamese. That's not much of an argument because we agree with that. Both ideologies of Russia and the Americans conflicted, and America's conflicted. Hence, brought on by the Cold War came Russia's need to expand their ideologies such as communism and the US's need to contain these policies like communism, causing such proxy wars, sometimes at the expense of other countries and peoples. Another person answered that, or another person's question wasn't really a question, and it was a common one, which is quite concerning. It was a statement, and it's that the Cold War isn't real. It's not currently going on, but yes, it was. Anyways, another popular question was that colonization, like Belgium colonizing the Congo, found in Gale, is what led to this need of liberation. For example, this need of liberation that called Lumbumba to ask for help from the Soviet Union shows the Cold War allowed political unrest and conflicting groups in power to lean on the support that these countries would bring. Hence, the Soviet Union and the US's tension from the Cold War is not what caused these negative effects on developing countries. Instead, it gave developing countries a new way for governments to break into groups and cause division already starting to form. And though that has its reasons, because the Cold War instilled fear within both the US and Russia, their role with developing countries led to a negative outcome, which we didn't know would occur if the US and Russia weren't so at unease with each other. And I honestly don't even know how this is a question. But somebody asked, where's the nearest bank? Yeah, I think we're done here. Was that? We know there's been lots of questions to determine the Soviet Union and America's influence on developing countries, and how it's related to the Cold War, to which we opened it up to questions of people adverse to our conclusion to our compelling question, what was the impact of the Cold War on the developing world? The main question was that a commonality found between developing countries as they were imperialized. They used references to the Angolan Civil War in Gale, saying that it was under strict restrictive Portugal control, causing them to split into two groups. Sure, it made it easier for the US and the Soviet Union to push their values upon them, but it didn't lead the developing countries to political unrest and violence. Our answer to that is that these developing countries were in turmoil before the Cold War and before the US and Soviet Union pushed their philosophies. We agree with that. However, these countries involving themselves in these conflicts not only advanced their turmoil, but sped up the division in Angola's case of UNITA and FNLA. Another common question was, if that was true, then why in Korea did Premier Kim Sung repeatedly want to go to war with South Korea, but every time the Soviet Union told him to hold off? This has a simple answer, and this was found from the Korean War and Gale context. Our answer is that North and South Korea's separation after World War II was always meant to be temporary and was brought on by Japanese imperialism, which is a large part of why there was such an unstable government. Though the Soviet Union wanted North Korea to hold off from this war with South Korea, it's mainly because they wanted to strike when US troops were withdrawn, not to mention how heavily North Korea relied on the Soviet Union. It's not like they would still be at war today without the Soviet support and resources. Another common question about the Vietnam conflict